Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Tuesday morning edition of the Moose Minute Project, titled, What in Tarnations? The more I hear of people's views, people putting things online, the sentiment of a lot of people, I only can ask, what in tarnation? And Bugs Bunny used to hear that too every once in a while. It comes back from an old childhood cartoons. So, what in tarnations and where are we headed? From what I can tell, it's not good. Yes, I agree. Kamala Harris is not answering the questions that she should be answering. And I get that. She's not being overly detailed about things, but I do know that she would like to give tax breaks to those with kids, try to make things more affordable, and you can argue either way. You can, you want, whatever. I'm okay with that. If you and I want to sit down and talk about it, feel free to do that. I would be honored to do it because somebody would look at my opinion. Yes, I get she is not having all of these interviews and everywhere else. On the same hand, a person that wants to have all the interviews with the president and the vice president being, or the nominees, Trump and Vance, I think should take some notes of speak less, because it is not helping their cause either. So I don't feel we have great possibilities in either hand. And you can say what you want, you can call her a liar, but if you're going to call her a liar, you'd better damn well know that your party is doing the same thing. Anytime he gets asked a question, it's just a nonstop rambling of how he knows everything. He's way smarter than everybody. And then we always get the weird responses, as well as illegal immigrants doing what they're doing. I want to go back to a fundamental that I was raised up by my mom. Of you treat those that you want to be as you want to be treated, and you are respectful to your elders. You hold doors. You walk along the curb. When you're walking with somebody, you walk along the curb. If you go on a date, whatever it may be, you either decide you're going to split the bill, or if you're out with your girlfriend, you pay the bill. And you talk respectful about the people that you are around. And I see less and less of that as I get older. And maybe it's because I'm 50 and I'm just tired and don't have a place for people in my life that want to have these discussions about how shitty people are and how their side is much better. I don't know where to go from here. So I keep studying. I keep listening to podcasts. And everybody that tries to convince me of who I should vote for, I get further and further away from both sides. And I have come to the conclusion that as long as we stay with a Republican and a Democrat society, and we do not have a third party, or we just don't go along with a single party, which sometimes would make sense, but it's too overgrown now. It's too ingrained with money and evil. And that's the only thing I can come up with, is both sides right now are so full of crap. They're so buried in special interest. They're so buried into money. And I thought about this on my way to work today, that if I was hiring people, and that's what we're doing, right? As a country right now in November, we are, as citizens, hiring someone to run our country. And if you own your own business, or if you're a manager and hire people, if either one of these candidates came in for a job interview and you asked them the questions that they've been asked and they answer the way they've been answered, I guarantee you, you would not hire either one of them. At least, now listen, don't jump to, but at least with Harris, I am getting some form of numbers that go along with the question. So if I ask, how are you going to make my company better? At least I am getting some percentages and numbers. Where on the other hand, I am totally getting off the wall answers that go along with, hey, I'll do this and this and squirrel and fly and whatever it may be. There has to be a way to get, there's better people in politics. There's got to be on both sides of this. But I have a feeling, because of all the money involved and all of the back money and everywhere else, that we won't see better. We are not going to see better leaders come out of this. With all the management training, all the sales managers training, everything I've been through, there's obviously no training that goes on for people in politics. They stick to what they are, they stick to who they are, and screw the rest, is what I've come up with. Anytime you hear them on the news, anytime you hear them on radio, I mean, even local radio, I don't believe they get asked tough questions. I don't believe that people want them to be asked tough questions, so they skirt around it. And because otherwise the people won't come back, but tough shit. Ask the questions. Ask the questions and make sure the answers get done. And don't let them get away with the rambling on with nothing that relates to the question. Continue to bring it back. You want to play clips of this and that, and, you know, for all of you Trump supporters, I want to play clips that make Kamala Harris look terrible, which there's plenty, don't get me wrong. But then you get pissed off and you say, oh, that's just the radical liberals and blah, blah, blah that make Trump look. Come on. Be truthful with yourself. Be honest with each other and say, our candidates suck. And just be honest with each other. But don't go on the internet and everywhere else trying to blast how the Democrats look so terrible and your Republicans look so great. Because it is far from the truth. So what in tarnation? That's right. What in tarnation can we do about it? We have to start standing up. And we have to start making people accountable. And yes, I get it. She's not answering interviews. But can we get him to shut up for a while? No, because you won't. Because he wants to talk about himself. Anybody that mentions I, and I'm smarter than everybody, and I'm better than everybody, and don't tell me he's out looking for me. He could give two craps about me. And I know this because I'm under his tax plan right now, and I get to pay in not only all year, but I'm paying in at the end of the year. So, what in tarnation? How can we fix this? And it's by standing up for who we are and who we believe in and becoming together. As long as we stay divided, as long as we stay as way we are, this situation goes on. And I am 50 years old. And if I have 40 years left, that puts me at 90. I'll be impressed. If I make it to 90, I'll be quite honestly shocked if I make it to 90. None of my heritage has made it that long. Roxanne side has. She's had a grandmother live to 100. So 90 would be a miracle for me. So I've got 35 years. Let's say I got 35 years. So that is 8 more elections left in me. If I live that long. I don't know if I have 8 more elections in me that I mentally can handle. So, but if we don't start working together, and that comes down from city government to working with our police to working with our judicial system, whatever it may be, as people that live here. If we cannot honestly have open discussions and not believe everybody is corrupt, we are in for a world of hurt. We have to be able to have adult conversations and adult discussions about the way to fix things that are going on in our area. And yes, I know we can raise taxes, we can do all of that. I get it. But we have to at some point also look at other avenues. And making cuts to our law enforcement or anything like that is not, or for our elder care benefits or for how to take care of our seniors. There's 3 places that I know do not get touched, okay, or 4. Schooling is one, but I don't think public schooling funding is the right answer. I think there's ways to get around that. So it comes down to main 3 for me. Military vets, they need to be taken care of. Law enforcement, because without law enforcement, we become a whole different problem. And yes, take it for what you have. I have a child that is in law enforcement, but I know how valuable that is. Otherwise, we become a society that just takes law in their own hands, and that's probably not a good idea. And just taking care of people in general with our health care. It should not be where you cannot afford health care. It should not be where if you are on patch or your insulin or anything else that you can't afford to have it. Or that you can't afford insulin in general. So there was a cap on that at $35. At least that helps in one way or another. But when we go and I get my meds that take care of my depression and everywhere else, and all they do is keep jacking prices, this part of it is not being taken care of because Big Pharma has their money where it belongs. Big Pharma has their money where they want it because people there listen. They're not going to control that. There's way too much money going into Washington to take care of that. And it's infecting the state. It affects everywhere else. So when do we start voting and holding people to their word? And if you don't do their word, there's a prime example of term limits and everywhere else that needs to be looked at. Term limits should have been done, I think, a long time ago. There should be nobody that's been in office since 1982. So here's another, and that's a great point, Tim. Thank you. Is of losing benefits. We were just having this discussion last night, my wife and I. And she works for the county. The county used to have great benefits. There was a privilege for working at the county. The prices have become absorbent. And so you're losing some really good people in the county because of that. You're also losing people in the county because of other things. And I will not mention them because, like I said, I have, and I do not want repercussions. So I will stay out of that discussion because that will happen, I'm sure. So No names mentioned there. But that is exactly right, too, is people are not wanting to go to work because they are losing their benefits. And benefits are impossible to pay for a small, like Jacob here, cannot afford it. Can't afford to, he wants to, he would love to give benefits to his employees, but he can't afford it. And the people can't afford the program that is there, that could be offered. I couldn't afford it. I mean, I'm making decent money now, but everything else added on, and this is where things also become about inflation. I don't care who's going to be in office next until you take care of the price gouging and everything else, but slapping tariffs on everything and doing that is not going to help. Tariffs are not going to help, because guess what? That's just going to reverse them to do. We have to export and import to make this work. We can't supply everything that everybody wants. And it's a proof. Look at the shelves in the store. There's a lot of things, or look in your house. Just take a look around your house and live on the only things that say made in USA. Whether it's your recliner, your couch, take everything else out of your house that is not made in the USA. Take it all up. What are you going to be left with? What would you have in your house if you are a true American and you're talking about all this stuff? And, oh, yep, import. I mean, the goofiest thing I heard was now the tariffs on John Deere. 200% tariff on if they go to Mexico. I don't understand. There's OPEC and all these deals and all these people that are standing behind. Do your research on things. And as a manager and owner, stay on top of how your employees are doing. Stay on top of that relationship. You should not be to where your employees go, oh, he's gone another day, go figure. And I'm not saying as an owner that you don't have right to days off and you do all of that. But you do have a right and an obligation to know all of your employees, and you have a right and obligation to know why they're not performing to where they're performing. And none of your employees, if they hear, hey, you need to report to so-and-so's office, should go, oh, shit, here we go again. I think we've all worked under people like that before, and it does not bring out the performance that it should. Get to know your employees. Get to know your people around you. If you're asking them to do a whole bunch of stuff above and beyond, or you want top-notch performance, then become a top-notch performer as an owner and a manager as well. And get on top of what is going to make a game changer. And like I said, as employees, we are hiring a new boss in November. And look at both sides as if they were sitting in front of you. And if you can tell me that you are absolutely 100% in line with either one of them, I'm talking to us that needs to be fixed. Because that problem is coming. I will take at least someone that's giving me numbers and some idea of where we're headed versus somebody telling me about eating cats and dogs and babies. And let's get on page. Let's at least expect the same out of everybody. So let's hear what the actual plans are. And when I see documents that are coming out, and people can tell me, Chris, you're just another one of those guys, Project 2025, you're just whatever. There are people in this world that will get hired to work in that White House on both sides that are not doing you or I a favor. They do not put us in the same employment category, because I know what I've wrote in taxes this year and what I've paid in taxes this year, and I'm probably guessing that overall percentage-wise, there's a few that have a hell of a lot more assets than I do that didn't pay nearly in what I did. And maybe I'm goofy in the head, but I don't think so. So when can we start supporting each other versus tearing each other down? And that's when it becomes starting with the business you own to the people that you surround yourself with. If you're surrounding yourself with people that's all they do is piss and moan, you're going to become a piss and moaner, and you're not going to get to where you want to be. So time to eliminate those people out, get into your group, study more on how to become a better person and reach the goals and to reach where you want to be. So thank you again for tuning in today. I appreciate it. It's a Moose Minute project on a beautiful sunny Tuesday morning. And I'm looking forward to what today brings at work. I always do. I just never know what's going to happen. So thank you all again for tuning in. And I truly appreciate just listening to me ramble about things that come to my mind. And that's where I'm at. I'm just tired of the awkwardness of both sides beating each other up over things and the stupid shit that's said and nobody wants to admit it on their side. So, and that's both sides, don't get me wrong. It is. It's both sides. I don't see a clear future until we get either the party system figured out or there's a quality third party that is allowed to run that really is looking out for us. So thanks for tuning into the Moose Minute. I am down to one team only left, one team spot left for my mom's tournament. So I have one team spot left for that out of 12 for December 7th. I've got, I think, 38 sponsors now for that tournament. All funds are going to go to Alzheimer's Association, except for the team entry fees. 100% of the team entry fees will go back to the bowlers. So the only money I am taking will be off the ball raffles, the 50-50, and the few challenges and silent auction stuff and all that I have. That's where the money will come to be raised for the Alzheimer's Association. So I am looking forward to December 7th. I wish I was looking forward to bowling more. I am not right now. I'm just not doing well there mentally. I'm not prepared yet. It's still too damn nice out yet, I think. Maybe that's the problem. But thank you for watching. Again, what in tarnation can we do to make things better? I think you have to start working on yourself first, making sure things are going in the right direction that way, before we can start really evaluating where we are going. And I don't like where we are headed right now. So have a great day. I think a lot of times my mom is blessed to be where she is, and not seeing where we are headed. I don't know if she'd have been content had she stayed through this problem. This is definitely becoming an issue. So have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, bless somebody else. And all my videos are on my YouTube channel as well if you want to look back on any of them. And you can hit subscribe there and see those as well, or follow here. Thank you all. Have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another edition of the Moose Minute Project.